You know that feeling when something finally amazing happens in your life, and instead of celebrating, you find yourself apologizing for it? Like the moment God blesses you with that promotion, the moment God blesses you with that relationship, with that breakthrough you've been praying for, suddenly everyone around you goes quiet, not supportive, not happy, just weird. And now you're shrinking back, making excuses, acting like it's no big deal, just to keep everyone happy and comfortable. Today I'm going to show you why apologizing for God's blessing isn't just wrong, it's actually blocking you from what He's trying to do in your life next. But first, let me tell you about the conversation that changed everything for me. There is a pattern that happens every time God elevates someone. And if you don't recognize it, you'll sabotage your own breakthrough without realizing it. A few years ago, I was stuck in a job that was slowly killing my soul. Every day felt like I was dying a little bit more. So I started desperately praying and fasting for God to open a different door. But months went by and nothing happened. I was getting more frustrated and more desperate. So I decided to step out on faith and quit my job without having anything lined up next. Of course, I was terrified, but I knew God was calling me to something bigger. And so when I finally got the job next, with a better salary, more benefits, and more freedom, the one job that proved to me that there's more in this world and there's more that this world has to offer. You know what happened? One of my closest friends, they went silent. So I would find myself in conversations downplaying it. Man, it was just beginner's luck. I was just lucky. It's not that big of a deal. They just found a place. They squeezed me in. But every time I did that, every time I said that, it felt like I was betraying God because I knew that I was praying for this. This is what I desired from God, and He finally did that thing. But instead of celebrating it, I was downplaying. Here's what I learned. When God blesses you, it's not a group decision. It doesn't need to be voted on. It doesn't need to be discussed or made digestible to people who preferred you struggling. That guilt you're feeling, that's not conviction. That's other people's discomfort trying to make itself your problem. And here's what no one wants to say out loud. Sometimes people closest to you are the least supportive when things start going right. Not because they hate you, but because your transformation is confronting their comfort zone. But here's where the danger is. Because where you start apologizing for elevation, you're not just being humble, or you're not being humble, you're actually delaying your next breakthrough, your next level, your next promotion, because you are not only showing a spirit of ungratefulness, you're also showing that you are not appreciative of where God has placed you now. I'll never forget this woman who came to me. She had been praying for years to get out of debt, and finally she got a promotion at work. But instead of being excited, she was almost ashamed. She kept saying things like, yeah, but there's people that was working there longer than I was. I don't deserve this. There are other people who are more qualified than I am. And basically she made herself feel bad for getting promoted, for getting what God has given to her, because she has been praying to get out of debt. And so in order to make herself feel less guilty, she then started working twice as hard to prove that she deserved it. Started taking on everyone else's projects, staying late, covering for other people's mistakes. And then the next thing that happens is that she burned out. She started making mistakes, and within 6 months of being promoted, they let her go. And then she ended up back where she started, in debt, and now convinced that God's blessing was a curse. And this is what I call blessing sabotage. And it happens when we confuse humility with playing small. Real humility isn't a downplaying God's goodness in your life. Real humility is saying, yes, God blessed me and I'm going to steward it well. Every time you apologize for God's blessing on your life, you're paying 3 prices. Number 1, you question your own worth. Number 2, you delay your next move. yourself. Number 3, you attract relationships built on limitations and not your potential. And maybe this is harsh, but I'll say it. There are people praying for what you already have, and you're busy shrinking because someone raised an eyebrow. Here's the part that might surprise you. Sometimes God uses your elevation to reveal something important about the people around you. So let's go back to my story about my job. This friend, let's call him Marcus. We had been friends for years. Tight, solid. But when I started seeing success in this new job, Marcus changed. We did not hang out as much. We did not talk as much. And obviously I would try my best on my end. And when we did, he'd make little comments like, oh, must be nice to have it so easy. Or some people are just lucky, I guess. And obviously that would make you feel guilty. That would make you feel bad. So as like a normal human being, I tried harder on my end to include him. I downplay my wins, focus on my struggles, even offered to help him get in at the job that I was working at, but nothing worked. He just kept getting more distant and more bitter. So eventually I had to make a tough decision. I had to let that friendship go, not out of anger, but out of love for both of us. When God starts positioning you, He will also start pruning for you. Some relationships, some friendships, some acquaintances won't survive the version of you that's fully obedient. Some relationships were only healthy when you stayed doubting yourself. And the more you try to bring everyone with you, the more weight you carry that was never yours to carry. Your job is not to manage other people's jealousy. Your job is to keep moving and moving forward. Let God decide who belongs in your next season. The ones who truly love you will adapt, support, or respectfully leave. So here's your new framework. You are not selfish for succeeding. You are not disloyal for growing. You are not wrong for becoming who God showed you in private. Stop performing smallness to protect someone else's insecurity, because sometimes your boldness is the mirror they need. Let your life testify. Let your wins shine. Let your growth speak. What I love about this whole journey is that it taught me the difference between real humility and fake humility. But here's what no one is talking about. Even when you stop apologizing for God's blessing on your life, there's always going to be this voice outside or inside of your head that says that you're being too proud, that says you are doing too much. Maybe you're asking yourself, what if I am missing something? I've got the answer for that. And it starts with understanding this one thing that changes everything about how you see God's blessing in your life. Click the next video to find out what it is.